Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Z2X. I'm here joined again by.
X.
And what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, I have been wanting to talk about this for a while because let's start off with I watched on not TikTok. It might have been on TikTok and then an Instagram reel.
I think it was like an Instagram reel that like found its way elsewhere. That's what it looked
Yeah,
like to me.
there's an Asian woman, and I'm going to guess she's Korean. She's like talking about K-pop, and she was talking about the founder of K-pop and his SA
Al-
stuff
Allegations.
that he had. Yeah. And I was like, what? How does K-pop, because K-pop's so popular. I'm not into K-pop people. I'm old. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm more of a grunge type chick. Um, anyway, so I was like, no. I went and researched. She's wrong. I'm going to play it right now. She's wrong, 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 wrong. And I felt like after I researched it, I felt like I needed to do a video to wrong the right or right the wrong,
Yeah.
right? And then point out actually who she was should have been talking about because there was a person in J-pop for the Japanese, and he has been, if you look him up, his name is Johnny
Kideo? Kitagawa?
Kitagawa. Yeah. And from Johnny and Associates. You can look it up and there's a bad stuff. And we'll talk about that later. Anyway, but the founder of Korean pop, because she was saying this guy went to college in the United States and then he went back because he was charged with SA. And, but that's not true. Not true, not true, not true. So I want to talk about this founder of the K-pop industry, and his name is Lee Soo-man. And I had you. He has a documentary out that he did himself, and you can tell. Obviously, it's clearly biased.
Yeah, in his favor.
Um, in his favor, yeah. And but I don't mind sometimes watching documentaries that are that they do themselves because I think that it gives us a
A
very good
glimpse into
eye.
their mind, basically.
Exactly.
Probably
That's
the best glimpse you can
exactly.
get.
Yeah, it's because that's how they see themselves too, and what they want to, maybe what they want to try to get a point across. And so Amazon has this documentary, and it is. I saw. I listen, people. I really I investigated. I went deep. I went and looked at the laws in Korea that were made because of this. Um, I went to Reddit, which is not always a fun place to be in
I went
because
to Reddit.
like it's a place and it is a place because you go down rabbit holes
I
on
went to
Reddit, I
the
feel like.
island. I,
I know. So, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is horrible. This company is horrible. So the company he did was SM Entertainment, which is
one of the biggest
Suman.
and yeah
Yeah.
entertainment companies.
And he did go to school in the United States in LA, and he was a computer engineer. And no, there was no essay allegations about him ever, 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 ever. He married a woman who was also in LA Tech, Caltech is where she went, and they moved and eventually moved back to Korea when Korea became a democracy, not a dictatorship. And he tells this beautiful story of his childhood, and it really is. He has a really good vision. I mean, I just think he does. Anyway, I will back up. I'm gonna, and this is where
Rewind, yes.
I'm gonna give his good and the bad things about him, and and then you and I can talk a little bit about, well, let's just talk about the documentary, then I'll give the good and bad things about what I found about the companies, because I
Mhm.
literally it's going to be a long one. Buckle up, but I've got some good info out there.
Yep.
So the documentary that he did, I thought it was beautiful. In my opinion, yes, it was one-sided, but he's also an Asian person, and Asian people, you can't compare American culture and definitely not European culture because I lived in Europe also. Their work week is 30 hours a week, and they have a lot of times off, way more than we
Isn't
do.
it 33 because they cut like 1 hour off every day or something like that?
Something like that. It's not, and let me tell you though, they take a lot of time off, like a lot.
Is it
Even the
like a whole
banks are
month,
closed.
like a per year
Some
basically?
countries, not all countries, but Some countries they do have it where it's required, and certain during the certain times they have to take 30 days off. It doesn't matter. Sometimes people take that off at different times, but most of the time it's during, a lot of times they take 2 months off because they'll take it right around Christmas time and then they'll take it again in the summertime. So, like January, I mean, not like Christmas, but kind of Christmas into
Yeah.
January. But they're required to pay for massive times off in those countries. And so you can't compare their work ethics with Asian work ethics because Asian work ethics are a step above American time
Yeah,
frames and work
which
ethics.
does have its pros and cons. Like for
Yeah,
example,
exactly. It
like there is studies that show that the crazy work ethic and work culture is probably what's contributing a lot to the depopulation because people just do not have the time or the desire to have like go out and have kids
exactly.
because they're like I'm
Yeah.
working too
And
much.
mental health problems.
Yes.
Um and also the fact that like I mean, in America, we did it though. People still did it, but they also had one person staying home in the olden days when people worked 60 hours a week. And I'm going to tell you, people, when I first started working when I was a kid, I worked two jobs and I most likely worked 12 to 16 hours a day. Like it was nothing. There was sometimes like I remember even I was 18 and a hotel revamped themselves and I got hired there and one of my sisters and I worked there and it was nothing. We didn't think anything of it to work 12-hour days. We really didn't. It was not a big deal. Um and and you know we didn't go out a lot, but obviously we were under 21 in those days, but still I kind of always either I went to school and worked or I worked two jobs. It's just kind of like what you did.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I know it's different now. I just know it is. But anyway, that was my first thing. I think that people need to step outside of themselves and because in the Reddit they're like, oh my gosh, they work them so hard. They do this, they do that, and but they in Korea they changed a lot of the laws. And yes, I'm going to admit it. They had 13-year contracts for them. That is
that is ridiculous.
ridiculous.
That is
I agree.
they're called
And
slave contracts, which I think
yeah,
is a
uh-huh.
pretty apt deal because a lot of these contracts were they're good initially. That's the thing is a lot of these contracts are great initially, but then 13 years pass and you're like, well, and that's some of these people's whole entire careers, like
Yeah. Well, and now, and that's the thing in Reddit, they talk about that. They talk about like it's happening right now, but it doesn't because Korea changed the law. So the same company, SM Entertainment, because they were actually the big one. They were before the BTS company, which is HYBE now from the Big Hit Entertainment. Um, that's another Korean company besides SM Entertainment.
yeah.
And in 2009, after one of the SM Entertainment people sued, one of the bands sued.
Wasn't it like Hot or something was the band?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they sued because they said it was slave. It was no, the band was TVXQ, and now
Mm.
it's JYJ. They sued because of and they all mean something. I'm sorry, I'm an old lady. It's like it means like crazy.
What was the name of it?
It was TVXQ.
It meant oh yeah, it was Korean like acronym for Rising Gods of the East.
That's right. Okay, so
Because
that's
they
what I'm trying to say.
because
They
they
all
thought
have
like
meanings.
they're on top or whatever. That's like the
Yeah,
idea.
exactly. So that band sold, they sued the company because they were the slave
Contracts.
contracts. And so Korea changed its whole, they have a now fair trade where they can't do those long contracts. The longest contract can be 7 years, but they also put in when I looked into this that their daily work hours cannot exceed a certain amount too for so much long. So like say they're on tour. So yes, their hours are going to be crazy, but they also have to offset with time off. And so they've changed a lot of laws. So in Reddit, it's like they don't have anything. They're doing all this all the time. And but the laws are in the people's favor. And anyway, so back to so they did sue him, and he brings this up in the document. He
Yeah,
in
he
the
does.
document he says like, and he also talks about some of them who had depressed, and the West were saying it's their problem that these people unlived themselves, and he's like, I can see his perspective. Hey, he's the owner of it. It's not like he's babysitting all of them, right? And one of them is because of online bullying. And the other lady, what did you think about the other lady that's been with them for 20 some odd years, and how what she was saying about how she won't be on, um, she doesn't get on social media?
I think that's probably the best for a lot of these people. Just do honestly, just a lot of even like Western celebrities I see fall, or like YouTubers or any of these people, it's because they get on social media then dig themselves into a pit. They either
Yeah.
get too confrontational with people, or they end up just doing something dumb, or they can't handle the heat, and it
Yeah,
like
it's like they get bored and they're online and they're like doing live things on their Instagrams, and it's like, what do you're probably going to get mostly negative. I mean, truthfully, you may get love bombed for a while, but then something's going to happen. Anyway, so that was that. And so okay, I liked it. I liked the documentary, and I saw some of the bad things that made me research it more and say, "Oh, let me look into this." But as a whole, I liked him.
yeah the
I
I
saw his vision.
the yeah, because there are some things in the documentary I'm surprised that, well, I'm not surprised, but I think should have been talked about. For example, like the uh Kim Sul-man did the huge embezzlement of like $1 billion
Yeah,
plus,
that's right. You brought
and
that
then
out. He
tried.
did go to prison. He went to jail for that too, right?
Yeah, he went to prison for it
Kim
was
Lee Soo is you're talking about
yeah,
Kim Lee Soo.
Kim Lee Soo. He went to
Yeah, that's
prison for, it was meant to be 3 years, but only ended up being like 2 years, because in 2007, when the president was elect, they gave like a special exemption because he was a non-violent prisoner. They didn't really like.
yeah, yeah, it was a white collar thing that,
Yeah,
and they also said that they couldn't really prove it. But you know what, Dallin? That's what his nephew, so in the whole documentary, he talks about his vision and why he started the K-pop, that he wanted Korea to be this really a cultural technology, like cultural
a
and
cultural
technology.
hub.
Yeah, and culture and technology blend together. That's always been his thing because he's a computer scientist, but he was also a famous singer in Korea before he even went to college for computer science.
Yep.
So he's in the industry. Um, anyway, his nephew, when they were trying to get all that stock thing, they were trying to say that he was stealing stock and money again, like he did that one time. And that's why he was saying, I never did it this time. I've learned my lesson
Yeah,
from
well, yeah,
last time
because
in the
the whole thing
documentary.
is that in the first time they did it, I think it is incorrect how you said like they weren't sure, because Interpol themselves the first time were like, yeah, he did it. We were tracking him, and we were literally like he fled the country. But
Yeah,
the
yeah, and
what
I was
makes
getting confused with when they tried to get him to say that he was doing it this time,
Yeah, but
but he
the whole
wasn't.
thing is though is that they were already have been kind of watching him so closely that I think it's
Yeah,
unlikely, because I mean, when you do that much fraud, you're always gonna have the government looking over your back
yeah,
forever.
yeah, exactly.
That
Hmm.
from what I saw, it's like it was actually unlikely that he ever did fraud again after that.
Yeah, and they couldn't prove it. Remember in courts they said they can't. There's no proof. What they were trying to do is his nephew was trying to do a takeover,
Hostile
and then
takeover. Yeah,
yeah, and the company, the one that did the BTS, the HYBE Corporation.
they wanted to
Um,
buy out the company,
yeah,
right?
they were trying to buy out SM Entertainment. And so they were basically trying to do a coup against him. And when you look at it, and that's what they were doing. And it wasn't really clear in the documentary that all of these groups, unless you're actually really familiar with Korean
Culture.
businesses
Yeah,
and culture. Yes, exactly. So that's why I had to really like deep dive into going, what the heck are they even talking about? And I did look on a lot of people saying that like they hated it. It was the worst documentary ever. But I actually thought it was beautiful. I don't know. I guess because I'm so far removed and I don't have any horse in this race. I know I say that a lot in this thing, but I'm just saying I don't have any. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't have anything against it, so I can look at it from an outside perspective. And I thought it was beautiful. What
yeah.
did you think?
I thought I liked his vision of it. Was like the uh, uh what's his name again? Kim Lee Man.
Lee Soo-man with
Lee
two O's.
Soo-man.
Lee
I
Soo-man.
keep getting confused with his brother.
M-A-N.
Or not his brother, I mean his nephew. Um
Yeah, it's him. Lee
yeah, I got it.
Soo-man.
I got it.
Okay.
Um yeah, the Kwangya. Yeah, the let's see. Yeah, Kwangya. That's what it was. is the like his metaverse, as he's calling it.
Yeah.
um
Mhm.
which basically is like, so a lot of people know, like, and I've done a lot of research into the original metaverse of it that Facebook kind of did. The Facebook's metaverse is not did not look promising. How much money did Facebook waste
Although it
on it?
does look better now, but
Well,
yeah, you're right.
and even then, now they lost like $100 billion.
I was just gonna
Facebook
say
did.
billions. Yeah, they
Yeah,
lost
100 billions.
billions.
And this is what they showed off. They're like, "Hey guys, we've got the this was Facebook, by the way, which is, I think, important to show
I
what." And
know.
Facebook, like, you can put these. That's what Facebook was like. Look at our amazing metaverse, right?
It's like childlike avatars.
And then I what I thought, and then they were like, "Yeah, it, you can do all this stuff." And then I found it interesting, a lot of the tech demos they showed and the technology for what Lee Soo-man is doing, the Kwangya.
Yeah,
um
the Kwanya, which is really kind of a cool thing. It in Korean it means like the Holy Land. Like you know how every the Jesus went to the Holy Land. It's like that. Like you're going through the barren so that you can come out like reborn.
is it kind of like a Gartha or one of those things where it's like some sort of
Um,
like alternate world,
let me.
mythology wise? Oh yeah, Kwangya
Well,
just comes from the word wilderness or barren land.
yeah, and but it's also it's a biblical teaching that makes it like you're going through the wilderness to come out better. You're going it's almost like, kind of like the dark night of the soul type thing, but you're coming out better. But he wants to make a kongwa, but it means different in Korean.
Yeah,
Let me look it up
that's what I
exactly.
told you. It means wilderness or barren land in Korean. It
Uh-huh.
is the wilderness, the wild, basically. It
Yeah.
is what it means.
But he wants to make it different than that.
Yeah,
It's
well,
the wasteland, but in K-pop, it refers to a fictional digital universe, an SM entertainment cultural universe.
yeah,
Although he's keeping it with him, it's not
yeah,
gonna. It's
yeah,
I and where they are, it's it's basically he's like a fake world,
yeah. Like,
but all the band members.
it is a metaverse kind of like. I think the idea
Yeah,
that he's going for is the wilderness, something to like wild, like, unpredictable. You've got
yeah,
like
yeah.
adventure.
I think you're right. Uh-huh.
That's the
Yeah.
word, adventure.
Yeah, and
But
so all the K-pop people, their avatars will be in there, and then people can talk to them and listen to them and watch them sing. So it feels like they're actually a part of their everyday lives and
mhm,
they're in the avatar world, so they
yeah,
can be
the
safe too.
a big part of it is that I thought that was more impressive, is that they had these full face scan machines and
Oh my
stuff like
God,
that
it's
that they
amazing.
showed up, where it's basically like these contraptions that like take perfect scans of your face and they put dots all over. And a lot of what makes me more impressed, I should say, is that Facebook comes out and they're like, here's our metaverse, and they show you schlock. And I'm like,
Yeah,
wait, isn't this supposed to like get me interested? Isn't this like the point? So when you're like, this is gonna reel you in, sucks. I'm always like, okay, whoa, like,
yeah. Then
what?
I'm not reeled in.
Yeah, yeah, because imagine, like, that's supposed to be how good it is, and it sucks. So
Yeah,
how is the
yeah,
real product? Versus when I see something like this where it's like, okay, maybe if the real thing isn't even as good, it's still got like potential there. Like, I see it, I see
yeah, yeah.
what's going on here.
Yeah, and
And
I think he's brilliant. I really do think he's a brilliant man. I think he knows culture. He knows his own culture for sure. And anyway, so when this lady was saying all these things about him, K-pop, of course I had to go look up everything. And now, like again, I saw that his K-pop, the same guy that she's trying to defame, Lee Soo-man, is he's not SM Entertainment now because he did get ousted by his nephew and other shareholders. He's A2O Entertainment, which means Alpha to Omega. He's trying to start a new genre of Zalpha pop, moving beyond K-pop. So he's changing from Zalpha pop to from K-pop to Zalpha pop, which is kind of like
well,
I guess it's
it's meant to be Gen Z and Gen Alpha, like this sort
yeah,
of the
mhm,
younger generation is what he's going
yeah,
for.
yeah, exactly. So I think that I feel kind of bad that she was missing the wrong person. She's talking about the Japanese one, and he was bad, bad, bad. I
Yeah,
mean,
that guy was
I'm
like.
years and years and years of SA
Asian
people, boys.
Asian Diddy is that's the best way to
Yeah,
describe
yeah,
it.
if not worse. No, it was worse. It was disgusting. His family stepped down because in Japan, the families usually own the companies. And his family stepped down and had to have somebody else and set up a separate shell company to pay off people from decades that were abused by this man. Anyway, so I wanted to also go back to this guy, Lee Son. I think he has a beautiful vision. I really do. I kind
Yeah,
of feel for him because I think he's a
yeah,
genius. I
because
think
his
he's
yeah,
crazy
because
genius.
his vision, from what I remember, is like a lot of the stuff with the technology. Because I'm in the technology sphere, and what was shown was a bit more promising than some of the other stuff I've seen of the concept, where he believes that these, I mean, there's some parts of it that are a bit worrying in the grand scheme, but also could be fascinating. Where he
Yeah,
believes
yeah,
that
there's always
there's
problems
this
too.
whole world, and you'll be able to create, you know, avatars, and these avatars could have their own lives and
Yeah,
their
he does.
own,
He believes AI will take over. He does believe that. He believes that AI is the
and we
future
will
and
be
these
living and
avatars
creating
in
alongside that.
yeah, uh-huh. Yep, exactly. That was the big thing. But and I see his vision, not that I would do it, but I see it and I do that from his
It's
view, it was
plausible. I
actually
think.
yeah, and it was beautiful. I mean, and you know, this is what else I think. I think he is a type A personality. So he, you know, he works, sleeps, works. And so those kind of people don't understand when other people are not all in on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they're not like, go, 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 go. And I think he started his SMN Entertainment in 1999.
Hmm.
And there was a couple hiccups and they lost money and kind of regrouped. And then again, they started these training places and Japan had it before he did.
Yeah.
The Japanese culture did it where in their culture it was dormitories. They actually slept there and stayed there, and that's where that Japanese dude that the woman confused them. He was bad, but in Korea, the kid they don't live there, but they're there 12 hours, 14 hours a day, and they're getting trained to sing, to dance, to talk. You know, they have like English speaking because he wanted them to bridge that English thing because he loved America so much. Also,
Yeah, he lived there. I mean,
um,
he went to
he went to college in
yeah.
California, like, and
Yes.
now his actually business is back in California too. He has it in
Lo-
Beijing, Korea, and in
Los
LA.
Angeles, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I was looking into it and so just because I want to be fair, that the things I talked about before that he did do bad, that they did have, like we said, 13-year contracts, right? And sometimes they were restrictive, excessively long. This led a lot of the members, one of the members of the band, the TVXQ, now they're JYJ members. They're the ones who filed the lawsuit and got everything changed. But then
Which is good on them, by the way. I just want
it
to
is,
say that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and good for them. And you know what? It's crazy. I looked up; they still are a part of the whole thing. That they even so in 2014, the XO members and also part of his vision. So XO was meaning that they were actually from another planet and they had all of these powers and stuff. So he's creating these almost like a
He
show
wants
within
stories,
this,
like an
yeah, he wants
overarching
stories.
story.
Yeah, and that's I think why it's so popular. The K-pop is so popular. The K-pop, the Demon Hunters, that's his thing. That was his idea. You know, to bridge there's the
Yeah.
band and then they have their cartoon world, and then there are these they fight these demons like they're all special powers and special worlds.
The
But anyway, in
the K-pop Demon
2004,
Hunters was not directly his idea or anything like that, but it's definitely
it came from
it's
his
derivative.
vision. Yeah, it was came from his vision because I was looking it up and stuff, and it's not his, but it was part of one of his visions that he had, that avatar world that he's been talking about since 2000 and before 2014. Anyway, in 2014, that the XO member, one of the members, a Canadian, he's actually from Canada because they do take members from all over the place. He filed a lawsuit also talking about mistreatment, lack of freedom, having to excessive work. Um, which he was like, hey, wait, we're working too much. And then that another thing that they changed a lot of aspects, saying, okay, we need more transparency, blah, 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 blah. And then in 2023, three more members of the EXO, because he kept adding more members to the bands. But by 2023, he was ousted. He was not, Lee Soo-man was not even in his company anymore. So this is it's not him. They still had other lawsuits against the company because they didn't stop after he left. So now, like you were saying to me earlier, it's the management, because when they go to these training sessions, they have managers, huh?
Yeah, which I was also saying, you got to be very careful on who you hire as managers, and I think that it's also, you can be partially blamed for that too, and their wrongdoings. It's basically, it comes down to, you aren't as much in blame, not as much as a
Yeah.
lot of people are saying, but it's still very important. For example, like, the company Steam, by Gabe Newell, he has fostered a very positive managerial um environment, that he says he doesn't really even run the company a lot anymore. He just goes in for the big decisions, and everything works. Everyone is happy. Everyone loves it because you build up a very strong manager, like,
Yeah, where people feel like they're part of a team.
part of a team, and happy and comfortable, and like, like
Yeah.
they're like that right there. Like, you don't let the bad apples fester, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, in going down back to the rabbit hole of in other companies in Korea, it's not just his. I
Oh
looked
no,
up at the other ones
it's very
that
common.
BTS, they had numerous complaints about
Even
overworking.
more, actually.
Yeah, past incidents of staff recording members without their consent and then threatening them with and exploiting them, favoritisms in different groups, and that they got to tour and got more VIP treatments and stuff. I mean, so the BTS group, it's a Korean thing too. But again, when you go through the people who are, there's a lot of fans for these Korean pop groups and BTS groups.
True.
And I think, yeah, there are a lot of them. And they don't want their people to be hurt or mistreated or work too hard, blah 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 blah. But they don't understand, again, they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for these people pushing them. And in that document, there was that one kid that said, I've been in training now for over a year, right? He was
Yeah,
at the training camp, and that he said he had a, because they said that they have to be at the training things for 3 years before they even are debuted.
they have a
And
chance
he
to
was
debut.
saying, yeah, and that's what I was just going to say. That kid said, I may not even ever get a debut, but this experience will be with me forever. He didn't have any regrets at all. And he can't even voice to his friends, because he said, I can't tell my friends because they would be all up in me all the time, because it's such a big deal to be here.
Yeah,
So he had to keep it even quiet about that. So it's we're using our own culture to
project.
yeah, and that's okay. I mean, it's good that they do that so they're not overworked and stuff. I don't want anybody to be, and they're kids when they start out, like they start out what, 11, 13 to
Sometimes,
18.
like, I was gonna say, like, sometimes it's like a lot of these people are like 16 or whatever
Yeah,
maybe.
I think he prefers them, yeah, older. He prefers them to be a little bit more mature. And so his new company, the A2O, he has a girl bands now, is what he has. And they're all from different regions. There's a Chinese girl and a Korean girl, and I think an American girl. Am I
Hmm.
correct? That
I
that
think
was
so. I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that out because I saw this again in reiterating, because I don't want to make it too long, and you can give up your opinion also after I'm done with this part. Um, that I just wanted to make sure that it's going viral, this woman's clip about K-pop and this person, and I think that's wrong. That's misleading. It's slanderous. It's wrong. He doesn't do that, what she was saying. I can't even say it on the internet, the essay boys.
Rose,
Um,
not the diddler, is basically what you're saying.
yeah, he's not that. And actually, me looking into this gave me a whole new respect for that industry, because they really have to step out of the box, and they're the dancing, the songs, the technology, because Asia is so ahead of us in that sense, you know what I mean?
Where do you get? We
Um,
think we get our phones from?
I
Samsung.
know,
Samsung
right?
makes all that,
It's
which is Korean.
and it really does make you want to go visit Korea. When the way he was talking, his whole dream is he wants Korea to have a spot on the map, you know, and
Yeah.
technology. And that's what his whole dream was from the very beginning. But yeah, that was all my thing. I just wanted to clear up, and I just now I have a new appreciation for that whole culture, I suppose.
Yep.
So what did you think about all of it? I know you probably, I kind of had to force you to watch that documentary.
No,
Sorry, honey.
I mean, I don't really mind. Again, what I do with things like that is I put them on and then I go like play a game or something, and it's just something nice to listen to. I mean, I listen to like 8 hour videos on like random stuff, anyways.
That's
I
true. Yep, you do.
so I'm like, whatever, right? It's like, you know, go see this, and like a lot of it, I'm like, I'm neutral on. I thought the technology part was very cool. I always find that interesting. That's what kind of hooks me.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
but overall, yeah, I think he's someone that I feel like people can say a lot of things like this guy did this guy did that. However, I think a lot of people are hypocritical in the way that if you were there, you would probably do the exact same thing, if not worse. You would probably do
Oh yeah.
even
Yeah.
worse, honestly, in these scenarios. And then I asked myself, honestly, like not trying to take a moral high ground, if I were him, would I do the same things? And it probably yes. If
Yeah. I you look at Simon Cowell. He does the same thing in the UK with boy bands. And I'm sorry, but I've heard way worse from that,
yeah,
and
true.
how he's a jerk. And he doesn't even try to be kind. This guy at least tries to be kind. And even a Korean woman saw him in the grocery store. Did that make you laugh when she called him fat?
Yeah, you're like you have gotten very fat.
Yeah, you got fat. You've gotten fat in your old age. And he didn't even meet, her and that they're like, you got fat. And he's like, yep, I was younger
Yeah,
when I was younger.
I've gained a few pounds, which he's not even
Yeah, and
fat.
yeah, I know. He's not even compared to definitely for our standards, not even at all. And it was sad though that you heard about his wife that she died, and he clearly they were a partner. And I love the other thing that, and now he's got a new girlfriend that's the or wife that is an ABC News in Korea uh journalist.
Yeah,
But you know what? I did think that he's an I can see how people fell in love with his idea because he's definitely he's got that je ne sais quoi, that his saying, like, the dream that one person dreams is just a dream, but the dream that we dream together becomes reality. Like that quote is it's that's the only way you can make a business work.
true.
You know what I mean? And him and his wife were that partner. Like she started that with him. Like she was the designer for the album. She was designer for their clothes. She was the one who helped them with the dances and stuff like that. And that's how he talks to people. And I think that when you listen to the documentary and the people that they're giving their honest opinion about him, they are, because even his stupid nephew that tried to take over is in the documentary. I mean, he tried to take over his company and he
Yeah,
let him be in the documentary. And these people who they call him teacher because they said he's always so inspiring and he's just always full of energy and life. Um, I can see that. I can see how he became so big, and I can see how people would manipulate that to try to make it look bad because people don't like people who are doing well. It's the sad reality. They're jealous.
yeah,
I mean, that's just my opinion. But I'm glad that you watched it. I'm glad that you saw the same thing that I did, that you saw that, hey, I would do the same thing. The guy, he's just he feels like, and this is from an outside perspective, he's a type A personality. So he's just expecting other people to be that uh enthusiastic
yes.
as he is about doing it. Yeah, and they're not. Not everybody is. And yeah, they had problems. But I think about all the legal problems they had. They're not a lot compared to how many people he had, quote unquote, in the training part and how many bands he had going. You know,
Yeah,
if you think about
it's a
it,
lot of management, honestly.
I know he did have a lot of management, and a lot of them came with him when he moved. Like the higher up ones and stuff came with him when he changed businesses. Now, I should have looked up to see if that one woman, the one that she was there in the early days, and
Yeah,
she's older, and she doesn't look like she's in her 30s. She looks like she's 16, doesn't she?
Hmm.
Like she's amazing. I don't I should have looked to see if she followed him because she really respected him. And she's been with him since she was 16, through the with the company. I just wonder. Anyway, just the this is what I wanted to talk about. And I know, thank you for letting me do it. And thank you for giving me your insight also on it. Because I know you're not a Korean pop
Yeah.
fanatic either.
No. I,
Come
I I
on.
I definitely, I'm not like over here like I am K-pop's biggest enjoyer, nor am I a hater. I'm very neutral on it. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like K-pop Demon Hunters. I thought that was cool,
Yeah, and they're, you
but
know what? They're actually, it's more for little kids, and so that's why I thought they took that from him because he actually had that idea again for the alpha and the
yeah, I wouldn't say it's for, I
omega.
wouldn't say it's for little kids, but it's family oriented, which I
Yeah.
think there's a key difference because little kids is like, oh, you've got your like, oh, this the like what's it called, Paw
Well,
Patrol or whatever.
yeah,
And then
but
you've
you know
got,
what? No, you don't because look at my niece, her daughter, who's not quite 5, she dressed up as the demon
well,
hunter for
well, well,
Christmas, and
well,
she's into watching the
well,
cartoon.
what I'm saying is that stuff like this, there's a difference because when you have something that is family oriented versus just kid oriented, it's able to hit the entire family.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
this thing,
yeah.
like if it was just kid oriented, you have it just in like a kid environment. But something like K-pop Demon Hunters went so viral among so many age groups, young, old.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah.
if it was just kids, it wouldn't even have breached that, which I think is very important for a lot of these things. If you can
Yeah.
hit the perfect, it's appropriate for kids to watch, but it's got enough depth that the adults will enjoy it. Like,
Uh-huh. And
and
have you watched it before?
I'm I led with that. Yeah, I watched it.
You You're all hee 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 hee
I'm
hee.
like, yes, I led with it. I'm like, when I watched it,
Well, I wasn't sure if you enjoyed it,
no, no,
but
I enjoyed it. I think the
I
animation
should
is really
watch it.
good.
I haven't watched
It's
it
like an hour
before, but
30. It's on Netflix, which I find
yeah.
funny is that Sony literally completed 90% of the movie, funded 90% of it, and then was like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
we're not going to do it anymore." And then just like gave it off to Netflix or sold it off to Netflix for like pennies on the dollar. And then
Uh-huh.
Netflix
Jeez.
funded the
They
rest of it,
scored with
and then
that.
has made literally hundreds of millions of, probably billions of dollars. Let me
Oh,
look.
I wouldn't doubt it. They scored with that because let's face it, oh my gosh, it's not even, it's just getting started too. I'm going to say it. It's going to go further and
Yeah,
further, I bet
I
you.
mean, literally, like these songs are now top of number one billboards by this like their fictional group or whatever, which is a group of like three actual women, but like
Yeah,
that
just
like
like
voice
that's what I was
acting.
saying. That's what he said. Remember, he was saying in the documentary he wanted these to be avatars, cartoons that are singing, and they have actual people, but the people are relating to them through this other
Yeah,
world.
I think it is an interesting concept, stuff like this that appears. I always think the Gorillas is like kind of like that too. The
Exactly, they
girl, like
are.
if
Yeah.
anyone looks really into, like, for a more American British, if anyone looks into the Gorillas, like they have a whole story going on there with these characters, and it's just two guys that do it, but they have like a whole world and things,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and telling a story through songs, and I think that's really interesting because you're like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, when you listen to the music, you're not just like, oh, here's the music. You're like waiting, like here's the next part of the story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, like for example, I love the Gorillas like a lot, and I think
Yeah.
the same way. So I see exactly why people do the exact same thing for
Well, and now people,
K-pop.
the world's got so much divisiveness going on. I mean, a lot, especially the Western cultures. We really have a lot of divisiveness going on that I think that sometimes when you can go into another world or another, like anime is so big now, things like that, that people can, it's like that escapism a little
Yeah,
bit. And I think that it makes people happy. And isn't that what Lee Soo-man wanted? People to be happy. He's like, I just
yeah.
want people to be happy and have fun. Anyway, so I'll leave it at that. That was my thing about deep dive into the K-pop industry and what I found.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting.
Agreed.
I definitely learned a lot, and that's all. That's all I
Yep.
got.
All right. Anyways, we'll see you later, guys.
All right, and hey, what a good way to start the year. We got two good ones that we did: the Stranger Things and
Yeah.
K-pop
Yeah.
deep
Which
dive.
yep. Very good.
I
Honestly.
know. It's a good year starting. Let's go for it.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yep.
All
We'll
right.
see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.